the Ox Bender 2.0, Ox Bender 2 from Menny Lindenfeld. There have been a lot of questions about this, a lot of stuff people wanted to know, and so I thought it would be only fitting if we go ahead and we jump in and give you those details first. So let's go ahead and do that right about now. So the Ox Bender 2, you're going to see it in action right now. The coin has been signed. He's going to have the person hold out their hand. Just by doing what he did there, that coin is now bent in real time. And he's going to show you what's happening as it's going on. But if you've ever wanted to do a coin bend, this is the only one-handed coin bend on the market. The only one that you can do it with just the one hand. And it happens on the opposite. So basically the coin goes in the hand. As he stretches out his hand, he says, this is what I'm going to have you do in just a moment. And the bending just happened by going back and forth. And then he takes the coin and he dumps it out. And it is a signed coin as well. So that is the action of the Ox Bender. And it does happen one-handed. I've got a whole list of details to let you know about some of the more challenging coins out there, because some of these you might have to use two hands, give it a little extra pressure. And you can also bend other things as well. You can also bend keys. You can also break them. So if you hate somebody, you don't like them, mess up their keys. You can twist spoons with this too. It doesn't just have to work with coins. So that's also important to note. And of course, all of these things that we're looking at can be given away at the end. You can also do steel washers. You know, if you're somewhere at someone's house, or if you're performing maybe in a hardware store, like here. You could also bend washers. Of course, they are about the same size as a coin. But you'll see the action Menny was just showing in the other clip, where you literally just have them hold out their hand, and during that action is when the bend is going to happen. So there you go. And I want to let you know this is very easy to do, and it's also very justified, and we'll get more into those details in just a moment about the handling as well, because I think it is important for you to know that this is something that makes sense when you're doing it. And I'm also going to compare it to the new CoinVext 4 that just came out too. You can also bend batteries, the little watch batteries, the little guys like that. You can also bend some batteries in someone's hand. I don't know if you want to do that for sure. I don't know why you'd want to do it, but you can. Have you tried this? Yes, I've actually tried the Ox Bender, and the thing is, when you just squeeze your hand, the coin melts. It's almost like it's melting. It bends so freaking easy when you are using it. A lot of accolades for this from people like Doug McKenzie. We've got Haim Goldenberg. We've got people like Magic Mike Ning. I saw Magic Mike Ning. So yeah, this allows you to unlock the superhuman power. Is that true? No, but it makes it look that way anyway. So there we go. Now we will go ahead and jump into some live questions for you, as I also have my stuff pulled up. I also had this for you that I wanted to start and let you know. This is the instructional, and I want you to see it's almost 2 hours long. These are all of the different things that are taught. Of course, the do's and don'ts with this, that includes coins. It also includes the details on the new coin slot, the adjustable coin slot. I want to tell you about that in a second too. As you see here, there's things going through the basic stuff like how to hold the gimmick, the setup, bending coins with one or two hands. You also talk about things in here when it comes to using the Sharpie, this new attachment that you can use. And as I just mentioned as well, you can bend other things too, like coins, coin cell batteries, washers, spoons, a little animation there with a twist, and also keys. So it's a very detailed instructional. So I wanted to mention that right away. That is an important thing to note. So the first question that I saw here was, so the gimmick is pretty small. So this is something you're going to have to keep palmed in your hand. When you actually use the device and you want to have your hand look a little more natural, because when you're doing this, you're bringing out the Sharpie along with the gimmick. And that's something I'm going to start with. Is some of the new stuff with this. One of the new additions is that there's a way to attach the Sharpie to the gimmick, because you want them to sign the coin anyway, right? Thank you, Mr. Tiemann, for the. So you're going to want to use the Sharpie anyway. So this now has an attachment, and it does work for left or right-handed people, if you want to include this on the left or the right side, for this to work for you to be more comfortable, depending on how you perform this. And you can also perform the Ox Bender 2 with either hand, right or left-handed. I want to mention that as well. So that is one of the new additions, is there's a spot to actually attach the Sharpie to the device, the gimmick. So when you take this out of your pocket, everything is together. So the hand is held naturally because you're holding the Sharpie. When they are holding the Sharpie to write and mark the coin, you're holding the cap. So I don't have a Sharpie in front of me, I'm a magician, but imagine I'm holding the cap. So your hand looks natural the whole time. Everything is justified when it comes to that. So that's very important to note when it comes to the size. Of course, the original, what has changed, As I mentioned, it is the Sharpie attachment, which is something Menny did for himself with some customization that really wasn't very easy to do. He had to customize not only the device, but also the Sharpie. He had to customize that. Now you can set this up with your own Sharpies in about 30 seconds to make it work with any Sharpie in the device. So there's also some new coin slots, an adjustable coin slot, because with the original, it was just the one spot. And depending on the size of the coin, you would have to adjust the handling in order for it to work. So now there's also a couple of additional tools included, some additional parts that now, if you want to do this with smaller coins, you can set up the gimmick for smaller coins. So when you go to perform it, you don't have to worry about those small coins popping out or squeezing out when you're going to do the bend, or even not working because you don't have the coin in there the right way. There's also now some adjustable coin slots in there as well, which is a really nice thing. Does the tool / gimmick leave a mark on the coin? No. As far as I know, with the basic coins, now if you're in the United States, if you're in the States here, quarters work very easy to bend, as do pennies. I would think dimes. The hardest one to bend is a nickel in the States here. That might leave a little bit of a mark just because it's a thicker coin. It's a different alloy, a different type of material than the other coins. So it's harder to bend. That is also the coin that you're going to have to use two hands for with the bend. All the other ones are just the one-handed bend, and they're bend much easier because of the properties of the coin. Hopefully that is helpful there. Is there an overall, is there a difference in the overall size in V2 compared to V1? Thanks for the question, Eric Kong over on YouTube, and I love the profile picture there too with Donkey Kong. This looks like it's the same size to me. I don't have the original with me to compare, but watching the videos from the original and this one, I believe it is the same size. He's just customized that gimmick to add new things to it. Yes, I don't believe there's any difference in the size from the original, this new one. So there you go. Hungry and Hungover also says the first one left no marks. Don't see why the new one would. Agreed. Again, I can't promise you that the nickel might not leave a mark because it is a harder coin to bend. But I do want to say that Hungry and Hungover said his original one did not leave any marks on the coins as well. So there we go. Does it make a sound when bending? No, device literally, as you're just talking and doing this. And so even if there was a little noise, it's totally covered because you're talking during this period of time. But it's just a very quick action back and forth. Nothing for you to hear, nothing that's going to make people stand up and go, what was that? So I wouldn't worry about the sound when it comes to the Ox Bender 2. Pennies you can do, traveling overseas, or if you're one of our international friends, you can use a €5 coin. It's a little bit bigger than a penny. It will also work with that same coin slot. They recommend that for the smaller coins, like a penny, the €5 coin. I think it was another coin, I forget, another international coin as well. So there you go. Let's see, quarters are great, and it's easier to see the initials for a bigger group. Yeah, I mean, I would definitely recommend that if you're gonna do this, something like a quarter, because the size, when you go to hold up the coin at the end, you can really see the bend better. And speaking of the bend as well, I want to mention, and this is going to show you him doing it again, Menny Lindenfeld doing it again, just how quick and easy the action is. There are also two options now where you can bend the coin in the middle, like he did here, or you can have the bend on one of the ends of the coin. So it's more like a little thing on the end where the coin is kind of bent up. You can also choose to do it where you want to have a bend in the middle, or you can do it where you have a coin bend on the edge of the coin, which I think is a nice thing here. You can also attach the Sharpie in 4 different positions on the gimmick. I wanted to mention that because I'm going through my notes here as well. So I mentioned earlier, this does work right-handed or left-handed. I think that's also something that a lot of people want to know again. What's new is the adjustable coin slot, this new Sharpie attachment that allows you to keep everything together. Quarter and the penny are definitely easier to bend with the one hand. The nickel is the one that you're probably going to want to use the 2 hands with. So there you go. Going back to the original shape, John, that's why this affects us. Yeah, I did see a question earlier. Thanks for bringing this up, Hungry and Hungover. People are asking, if you bend the coin, can you bend it back? That's really not what this is meant for. This is just meant to bend the coin and give it out. And again, they can keep the coin at the end. You should probably let them keep it because it's an impossible moment. How does it compare to CoinVex 3 or 4? So Brian, great question. And I was going to bring up the comparison of CoinVex and this. One of the biggest differences with CoinVex is you still have to do this. You still have to do the motion where you're doing the bend, right? And it's a 2-handed bend. So while it is in plain view, because it is a Sharpie, it is something that you have to do this motion at some point to get the bend. Of course, that's all justified, and CoinVex is great. However, if you want to do a true one-hand coin bend, where you place the coin in your hand, You just move your hand forward. As you're doing that, you're doing the squeeze, you're doing the bend, come back, dip the coin, dump the coin and hand it to them. It's just a different type of bend, right? One happens here, the other one happens here, out in the open, and 100%, very easy to do. So again, two different things that do the same thing. Hopefully that helps when it comes to comparing the two, because I know we just did promote the Coinvex 4 coming out about a couple weeks ago or so. So hopefully that helps you out. Is it good for a beginner, Mr. F Keepers? Sure. You know, if you are a hobbyist or a newbie to the magic scene, then yes, because the bend happens very, very easily. From a sleight of hand point of view, there's really not much for you to have to do other than just the bend, right? The other thing that I'll say is, because you're also using a Sharpie, again, your hand won't look like you're having to palm something just by itself, right? Having this in play, I think, really helps make it an even easier thing to do for someone that's just getting started with coin bends. So I hope that's also helpful for you. David First says, I have clients who have kept their bent coin for a very long time and keep it with them all the time. It is amazing. Yeah, I think for us as magicians, we shouldn't undersell the impact that something like this has, you know, which people know you cannot bend with your hands. Doing in front of them with no cover is something that people definitely don't see every day. So sure, something I could see people keeping as a souvenir. Ryan Garber says, this is more streamlined for sure as far as I can tell. Wow, good update to a classic effect. And that's the other thing too, you know, the Ox Spinner's been off the market for a while. So nice to know that Menny was kind of working on some new changes behind the scenes to make this fresh and new. So there we go. Ken says, changing the moment when the spectator thinks the bend happens is crucial. Making the spectator forget you had the coin out of sight is key. Yeah, I agree that the Ox Spinner makes everything just kind of feel, just flows, right? For sure. And it definitely makes that moment where they're seeing you out here totally free. Think in their head, they'll think back and go, there's no way, there's the coin, I saw the coin in the whole time, right? I want to make sure there weren't any other details here. A couple of reasons why you might like this from the product page here. You also perform this surrounded, which I think is a very cool thing to remember. Again, a little, very misdirection that you need. It's scratch free, as they say here, and silent. Those were some questions that we had. Again, new, the adjustable coin slot, the bend troll. Yeah, as I mentioned, you could bend the coin in the middle or on the edge. That's also a new feature here, which I think is pretty cool. Definitely works with sweaty hands, which is great for me here in the desert, here in Las Vegas. And that Sharpie add-on feature, which I think is also something that a lot of the workers and people that use Sharpies and just have things in and out of play, it'll just make your life a lot easier as well. There you go. And here's one last look at the instructional. Again, 2 hours long. There is no stone left unturned here. Every detail is here for you. And I think that the Ox Spinner 2 is an update and a great piece of magic to add to your repertoire. Now, this isn't just a trick. This is a device that you're going to use. But again, you don't just have to use it with coins. You can use it for other things too. Hungover also says you should do it with a borrowed coin, but I always carry a few quarters because most people use cards instead of cash nowadays. Agreed, coins are kind of less and less seen. But yeah, 100% if you're going to do this, use it with a borrowed coin and have them sign it for sure. That is it for our review for the Ox Bender 2. But if you want to know anything else, drop it in the comments and we'll get you taken care of there too.